السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين. الصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد. Dear friends, I hope you are all well. Today we are discussing about political science, one of the disciplines of social science. And without further explanation and uh, definitions, we can let us go into our video. So first, definition of political science. What is the branch of knowledge that deals with the state and systems of government, that is the scientific analysis of political activity and behavior. That means political science is a branch of knowledge, as many of branch there exist. But the peculiarity of this branch is that this branch is concerned with, it will related to the state and systems of government, especially for the scientific analysis of political activity and behavior. When we say, some more simply, it's a kind of social science concerning with governance and power. It is a science, social science, concerning with governance and power and analysis of political thought and behaviors. This is the nature of political science, and we have to we have to take a look into etymological definition of political science. Politics is derived from the Greek word politica, which means affairs of cities. uh, this was named because in early ages politics were politics were only in cities. Politics were only in cities. There were no there were no large countries or such like things. Uh, uh, in this ages there were only small cities, and all cities have their own politics. So in answer in our past age, politica means affairs of cities, and Aristotle uh, introduced empirical observation of study of politics. It means that Aristotle was the first one who introduced a different perspective to this political science, which was empirical observation to study this. It was a major contribution of Aristotle, and for this reason he is considered as the father of politics. Then major topics under politics. Now we are discussing about major topics and what is the scope of our political science. We know that there are many kind of politics. Domestic politics, we can explain each and every one of these points, inshallah. So first one, domestic politics. Domestic politics, it will be related to political parties, regional political parties, especially in the case of a country, and the internal politics, and such like yeah, how it works, how it functions. Such like are discussed domestic politics. And comparative politics, it is a vast concept. That means it as known from its own name, that to compare politics of two countries. For example, the presidential systems of America and parliamentary system of our India. Such like some international comparison will be done under comparative politics. And international politics means in this interaction of countries in different situations such as war and such critical situation. This is international meant by international politics. And political theory, simply we know that as well as all of the science, politics has also some theories, and it is discussed political theory. Then public administration. In public administration, more concentration will be on bureaucracy, how it works, how its policies, and how its system is going. That's like. And public law. Public law means it is more concerned with constitution, law related issues, and codes, such politics are public law, and also the last is public policy. Now we have to take a small brief look into history of political science. Political was early found in works of Confucius, who from 5051 to 1479 in China. That means the political science is the master of science. That means all before all of this science, political science was formed, especially in Greek political science. In Greek also there were political science in earliest ancient Greek. Also there was political science, but at that age it was a vast concept that politics include economy, sociology, all were under this political science. But now it has changed in our modern era. And when we talk about contribution of uh, major personalities into political science, first one is Ibn Khaldun's invaluable contribution. Ibn Khaldun has made many of contributions in this political science, and it is said that Uthmani Khilafat, thus a long age of ruling was the cause of was caused by Ibn Khaldun's Muqaddimah, Ibn Khaldun's invaluable Muqaddimah. They were teachers about Ibn Khaldun's Muqaddimah. They studied about it, and they got more suitable and invaluable values how to govern a country, how to establish equality, and how to establish justice. Such like things they got from Ibn Khaldun's Muqaddimah, and it was lasted for many centuries of years. And Plato also conveyed a real and ideal information about politics. Then and Aristotle explained politics empirically. This was the major change that Aristotle made for the politics. That means he explained politics empirically, how to study politics empirically. And Aristotle another work was he distinguished political system on the basis of numbers, numbers of ruling person. That means he distinguished political system on the basis of two things. First one is how many ruling persons are in a government, and whether it is legitimate or not. As in this basis, he classified politics into six. First one is monarchy and aristocracy and polity, triandy, oligarchy, and democracy. And now we have to introduce an age of change. We know that in early Aristotle and Plato has many contributions of political science. Whether though their policies and concepts were according to preferences of their city state. We know that in early ages, in at the age of uh, especially Aristotle and Plato, there was not countries, there was city state. A city state means the all citizens of a city state will be participants on its governance, and this is the concept of city state. But this situation was changed with the emergence of Roman Empire. We know that Aristotle and Plato has many contributions, many theories, many concepts to political science, but they were not going to accept these all theories, but they were on their own theories, and this was changed by the emergence of Roman Empire. This is our what we mean by age of change. After now, citizen means that every and each one will have participants in government authority, and this is the age of change. And after Stoics stated his nature law, and Cicero, who was inspired by Stoics, theorized that all have equal moral wealth, regardless of citizenship and such other religion, such other things. He said that all have equal moral worth. This is not connected with citizenship or such like things. And Aristotle's and Plato's books were preserved by Arab for 8 centuries. This is a major plus point of Arabs because this in that age Europe was not intellectual. They were not educated. They were in ignorance, in darkness of ignorance. And at the time, Arabs came forward and they preserved and they protected Aristotle and Plato's books and translated and conveyed it. And from Arabs, after the Muslim Spain's invasion, Europe received many of their knowledge, and after that, Europe teached Muslims, and thus all the knowledge were gone to Europe. And while Europeans were in mere darkness. Then we have to discuss modern history of politics. According to Machiavelli, politics is to get power and use it. And Thomas Hobbes introduced politics as power as major factor of politics. And also Max Weber's in our Max Weber's view, politics is more concerned with culture and values. Since the modern some politicists said about political theories. And finally we have to discuss about social contract theory. This is a simple, but we have to understand it very simple theory. Here the topic discussed here is to find an answer to this question. That means how authority is formed, how in society. That means how a authority, how a priority is formed in a society. This is the discussed topic in social contract theories. So, okay, Thomas Hobbes and John Locke, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, and these three have many contribution on social contract theory. This means that how when a people is living socially and socially organized in a society, all types of people will there and all have their own rights, but their rights is till but their rights is never extended to inhalation of or deprivation of rights of others. It is included only their own rights. This means as a rights as a part of his right, his own right, he cannot harm any people. And same case, other people cannot harm anyone, any him or anyone on the as a part of his right and say this is my right to harm. This is the principle. Then they are contradictory, and all may understand that if we use our all rights upon other, there will be a possibility of crashes and death, and this is very difficult, and we have to go through pieces. And they select a person who will guide them, who will and to whom they will all surrender, and they will all agree, and whose decisions will be legitimate, and such a leader is formed, and thus a socially well done manner, well done behavior go through society. It is mean by social contract theories. And Jean-Jacques Rousseau stated that all people have their personal will for general will. That means all have their own personal wills, but it is not always addressed in as a general people's will, because sometimes we have to change our personal will as a part of our wellness, our society wellness, and we have to stand in general will of society. These are the discussed in political science. So here we can conclude our video. Jazakumullahu khairal jaza. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu.